watching RTD's English News Edition. Here are tonight's top stories. At the Presidential Palace, the head of state received an Australian emissary. Football team. Those are the top stories, and thanks for joining us. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, has received today, Sunday, at the end of the morning at the Presidential Palace, Mr. William Fisher, the special envoy of the government of Australia to the Francophone and of the French-speaking African countries. The relations of friendship and cooperation between the two countries bordering the Indian Ocean have been raised in the course of this hearing. The discussions were then centered on the collaboration that the Republic of Djibouti and Australia have enjoyed in the specific field of maritime safety. The special envoy of the Australian government has finally said to have taken advantage of this interview to transmit the wishes of success of his nation to the people and government of Djibouti, celebrating these last days their 40th anniversary of national independence. And while in an interview, the special envoy has indicated that Djibouti provides a valuable assistance to the Australian vessels, Mr. Fisher has said that engaging in the international process to secure the waters of the Indian Ocean. Mr. Fisher then has explained as well that this meeting with the President Guelleh was therefore the opportunity to thank on behalf of his government for the support and the warm welcome provided to their sailors. The Emerald Jubilee is celebrated as it should be, with each corner of the national territory and by all the institutions and everyone in its own way. It is the turn of our national operator of telecommunication, who has organized this morning in the Kempinski Palace a huge event to hand over the gifts to the happy winners of the random draw. Under the high patronage of the Ministry of Communication responsible for postal and telecommunications, Djibouti Telecom organized the ceremony of presenting the lots to the winners of the great game of Djibouti, Special Telecom, a 40th anniversary of the Republic of Djibouti on 16 July 2017. Were present the Minister of the Communication, Abdi Yusuf Suge, and the Secretary of State for Youth and Sports, Hassan Mohammed Kamil. Participating in this event also the Director General of Djibouti Telecom, Mohammed Assoui, Commercial Director Mohammed Umar Waburi, and the Director of the Networking and the Internet, Burhan Abdul Qadir Burhan. The ceremony were animated by the national star Abba Yazid Ali. On its side, the Minister of Communication, Abdi Yusuf Suge, has in an intervention expressed his joy to participate in this ceremony for last two winners of the great game of Djibouti Telecom, and he has also thanked all the teams who have organized this game with the transparency worthy to be congratulated. And finally, the Minister has paid tribute to the television broadcasting of Djibouti and its Director General, who has mobilized a very dynamic team who he deserves to congratulate their dedication. And finally, the responsibles had handed over the different lots of the different winners. A total of 40 lots were awarded to 40 candidates who have had the chance to win these games. These lots are composed of 4 draw of 10 each, 4 vehicles of brand Grand Vitara, 4 refrigerators, 4 air conditioners, 4 flat screens, 4 washing machines, 4 bed of the bathroom, 4 lunches, and 4 laptops, and finally 4 mobile phones of the brand Galaxy S8. The winners of these first batches are indeed Mrs. Fathiya Abdullah Ahmed, Mr. Abdul Qadir Abdullah, Mr. Idris Ahmed Kayat, Mrs. Saadia Usman that works at the RTD have all had the chance to win the first batches of the big lottery of Djibouti Telecom. The ceremony is closed with a family photo between the grand winners of these lots. And we collected some of the reactions present at this ceremony. Let's listen to it.
I am now pension. I was working with the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, and I got the second of the first prize. Is this car. I want to say thank you to Djibouti Telecom. And this occasion of the 40th years of the independence of Djibouti. Yes, it was very transparency, and Djibouti Telecom, thank you so much, and I'm sure they will get more and more updated. I mean, we need the 4G. Now we have 3G, but they will make 4G very soon, I hope. Thank you, Djibouti Telecom.
Into the rest of our news, the steering committee met this morning to examine the situation of the football team, who has suffered a heavy defeat last night in the match against the team of Ethiopia. In this match, the steering committee has, in a statement made this morning in the presence of the Secretary General of the Secretary of State for Youth and Sports, decided to separate the football team A. Nevertheless, the Football Federation will continue, they said, its policy of development of youth and with the launch of detectation of young talents in football. And concerning the feast of the 40th anniversary of the independence is not yet finished. In Madagascar, the feast was high in color, full of momentum, in patriotic fervor with cultural and patriotic animations. The Djiboutian community residing in Madagascar have largely taken part in this celebration, which have been marked by traditional dances. The participants at these festivities have expressed their pride for this anniversary of independence. The Office of the Commissioner of Southern Police has conducted an operation in order to eradicate the stealing of electrical cables by bandits. These cables belong to the Chinese company staying in Djibouti, and during this operation it has been seized a large quantity of wires estimated at more than 500 kilograms, which was intended to be resold in the black market. The Office of the Commissioner has also arrested in this case one suspect. Indeed, this commodity is usually passed to the black market, which constitutes a criminal act to the public health. The Colonel Absiye warns against this kind of criminal act. All persons involved, he said, in this case will be presented before the justice to answer for their acts. Under the climate of Dai, characterized by the freshness, the young people of the capital and certain of the region of interior moved to this region for all summer. Mr. Isa Ahmed Mohammed, in quality of a manager of this center, organized a tournament at several disciplines, football and races, in 3 levels. Following this organization, the winners have been rewarded with trophies from the hands of the MP Ahmed Wadad, the second place by this representative of the Regional Council of Tujara, Abdul Qadir Aden, as well as the notables of the region and the leader of the village. These personalities present have congratulated Mr. Isa Ahmed Mohammed for his remarkable activity which takes place throughout the year. Obituary: we have the regret to announce you the death of the late Ilyas Tukali occurred on Thursday evening in the Baltier Hospital. The deceased, born in 7 October 1977, was an employee since the year 2000 at the National Printing Bureau. An employee appreciated by his colleagues, the late Ilyas was very serious in his work. The Minister of Communication, Abdi Yusuf Suge, the Director and the staff of the National Printing are addressing their sincere condolences to the most sadness to the family of the deceased, and pray the good God to welcome him in his eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. In another obituary, it is with sadness we announce you the death of the late Hussein Awlad Ajda, occurred on 13 July at the General Hospital, Peltier. Deceased Hussein Awlad was born on 17 January 1958 and practiced as an agent of the customs at the service of the indirect contribution during 4 years. He leaves behind him 7 children. We pray Allah to welcome him in his eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And on the news outside our borders, 8 people were killed during Senegal's Football League Cup final in Dakar on Saturday, the sports minister said, as well as as a wall collapsed onto clashing supporters, triggering a panic stampede. Sports Minister Matarba said a young girl was among the dead, while around 60 injured fans had been taken to health facilities in Dakar. A mass deployment of firefighters and ambulances remained at the scene late Saturday. After a wall supporting pressures, sitting fans from both sides then collapsed, while police had begun firing tear gases and panic spread in the stadium, leading to a crash. Campaigning for Senegal's legislative election due on July 30 will on Saturday be suspended in respect for the victims, said a spokesman of President Macky Sall. And in Turkey, millions of people have begun marking the first year anniversary of the July 15, 2016 failed coup attempt in all 81 provinces, with people in Istanbul gathering on July 15 Martyrs Bridge, where President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said citizens had beaten well-equipped coup soldiers thanks to their belief. July 15 Martyrs Bridge, previously called Bosphorus Bridge, was blocked by coup plotters during last year's 12th coup, and 34 people were killed by coup soldiers. Did our citizens have guns in their hands, said Erdogan, who marched toward the bridge from his residence with the families of the coup night victims while addressing hundreds of thousands of people late on July 15. Strict security measures were taken around the bridge and thousands marched. Well, this is it for this edition. Thanks for staying with us. Enjoy the rest of our programs.